Welcome to this week's Word Nerd Trivia Challenge. Each week we're bringing you a 25-question quiz with 5 different categories. For each correct answer, give yourself a point. The categories this week are Meet the Beatles, 3 actors in a movie, TV theme songs, poetry, and purple things. We're going to start with the level 1 card, and these should be the easiest questions of the bunch. Our first category is Meet the Beatles. Which Beatles song started out with the title Scrambled Eggs? Was it Honey Pie, Glass Onion, or Yesterday? Scrambled Eggs was the working title of Yesterday. I believe in scrambled eggs. Our next category is 3 actors in the same movie. For these questions, I'll give you 3 actors. You name what movie they were all in. Which movie featured Dan Aykroyd, John Belushi, and Christopher Lee? The answer is 1941. Our next category is TV theme songs. For this category, you'll hear a little bit of a television theme song. Can you name the show it's from? What show was this the theme for? That was the theme for Parks and Recreation. The next category is poetry. For this, I'll give an excerpt of a poem, and you have to name the poet. What poet wrote, "Do not go gentle into that good night. Old age should burn and rave at close of day. Rage, rage against the dying of the light." That was "Do Not Go Gentle Into That Good Night" by Dylan Thomas. And our final category this week is about purple things. What fast food character is supposedly an anthropomorphized taste bud? The answer is Grimace. Now, there are other theories that Grimace is actually the visual representation of what it feels like when you drink a milkshake too fast. I wouldn't know. The machine was broken. All right, moving on to level 2. A memorial tree was planted in LA's Griffith Park for George Harrison, but in 2014 they had to replace it. What happened to the first George Harrison memorial tree? As strange as this sounds, the first tree was killed by beetles. What movie featured George C. Scott, James Earl Jones, and Peter Sellers? The answer is Dr. Strangelove. What show was this the theme for?
Thank you for being a friend. Travel down the road and back again. Your heart is true.
That was the theme for the Golden Girls. What poet wrote, "You may write me down in history with your bitter, twisted lies. You may trod me in the very dirt, but still, like dust, I'll rise." That was Still I Rise by Maya Angelou. Who headlined the Super Bowl halftime show in 2007? The answer is Prince, and of course he closed his set out with Purple Rain. Moving on to level 3. Which song off Revolver featured the first recorded example of backwards guitar? Was it Revolution No. 9, Tomorrow Never Knows, or While My Guitar Gently Weeps? The answer is Tomorrow Never Knows. This experimental track was the first instance where the band played a song without really worrying about how it was going to sound if they tried to perform it live. Which movie featured Ralph Fiennes, Juliette Binoche, and Willem Dafoe? The answer is The English Patient. What show was this the theme for? That was the theme for Family Ties. What poet wrote, "Hope is the thing with feathers that perches in the soul and sings the tune without the words and never stops at all"? That was Hope is the Thing with Feathers by Emily Dickinson. In what film does Jeff Daniels play a fictional character who steps off the movie screen into the real world? The answer is The Purple Rose of Cairo. Moving on to level 4. What Beatles song was entirely performed by John Lennon? Was it Julia, Strawberry Fields Forever, or A Day in the Life? The answer is Julia. This song was written by Lennon about his mother, who he lost in a car accident when he was 17. Which movie featured Bradley Cooper, Cate Blanchett, and Toni Collette? The answer is Nightmare Alley. What show was this the theme for? That was the theme for The Odd Couple. What poet wrote, "I am not cruel, just truthful, the eye of a little god, four-cornered"? That was Mirror by Sylvia Plath. Purple Haze was the first track on the US version of Jimi Hendrix's debut album, but what was the name of that album? The album was named Are You Experienced? Alright, this is level 5. These should be the hard ones. What is the only Beatles song with a drum solo by Ringo? Was it Helter Skelter, The End, or Twist and Shout? The answer is The End. The final track on Abbey Road, this song contains a solo by each member of the band, including a 15-second solo by Ringo. Which movie features Kenneth Branagh, Tom Hardy, and Harry Styles? The answer is Dunkirk. What show was this the theme for?
This is the theme to Gary Show, the opening theme to Gary Show. This is the music that you hear as you watch the credits. We're almost to the part.
That was the theme for It's Gary Shandling Show. What poet wrote, "There are worse things than being alone, but it often takes decades to realize this. And most often, when you do, it's too late, and there's nothing worse than too late." That was Oh Yes by Charles Bukowski. What nickname, derived from a novelty song by Shep Woolley, was used to describe the defensive line of the Minnesota Vikings in the early 1970s? They were known as the Purple People Eater. I don't have any information about how many eyes or horns they had. And that's it for this week's quiz. Add up your scores and leave them in the comments. While you're there, please do consider giving us a like and subscribing. We'll be back next week with an all-new quiz. Thanks for watching.